Well, good evening all. It's now just over 24 hours since Theresa May made her speech in Florence about the so-called transitional phase of our exit from the European Union. Like many of you, I would imagine, I'm sitting here tonight and I'm still furious. Theresa May has shown that she has no faith in our country, she has no faith in our people, and instead wants to hang on to the coattails of an undemocratic institution that stifles innovation, that stifles industry, and dictates to those within its grasp. Now, I don't see how anybody can justify us giving £20 billion to the European Union just to get 2 years of additional single market access. Norway pays £300 million a year for access to the single market. That's less than a week of our EU membership contributions. So where's she getting 20 billion from? We've already given the European Union in hundreds of billions of pounds in membership fees since we joined, which they have used to actually build motorways, airports across Europe. Now, surely they're turning around and saying 20 billion more. What about our assets that we've paid for in the European Union? When you're having a divorce, as the Eurocrats like to call it, then surely you divvy up what you've paid. Well, obviously, if this is some kind of divorce, we're the abused wife. There should be no bill to leave the European Union. There is no legal status for it. And if they say we've got to pay the bill before they talk about any trade, fine, let's walk away. Walk away, go to WTO rules. 7 out of 10 of the top exporters to the European Union around the world don't even have a trade deal. And we have a trading deficit of over £60 billion a year. That means they need us more than we need them. We're the 8th largest manufacturing country in the world now, and either the 5th or 6th biggest economy in the world. It is in the European Union's interest to actually make a deal with us, because they stand to lose more than we do. When you've got a handful of aces, you do not turn round and fold, which is what Theresa May did yesterday. But let's look at even the bigger picture. She obviously believes, and her minions believe, that our great country cannot survive and prosper outside the EU. Absolute madness. Look at our history going back as the oldest nation state in Europe, that is England, and as the United Kingdom since 1707. We are innovators, we are inventors, we are global traders. This is the country of the great leaders, the military leaders like Nelson, like Wellington, like Montgomery, the great politicians, the Gladstones, the Disraelis, the Lloyd Georges, the Churchills, the great inventors, Stephenson, Trevithick, Newcomen, the country that gave the world the railway, that started off with the canals, that gave the Industrial Revolution to the world. And in empire, we went out, okay, we didn't, some of the things we did were bad, but we spread that rule of law, we spread the education, and we transformed the world. We have done these things before. We are a great peoples. We can do these things again. If you look at one of my heroes, and you won't have heard of this man, his name was Walter Daisley. He was in the armed forces in the British Mandate in the 1930s. In 1940, him, amongst 50,000 of his colleagues, fought 250,000 Italian troops back across the Western Desert to a standstill while the Battle of Britain was raging in the skies above southern England. In 1942, he was there at the Battle of El Alamein, the turning point of the war, fighting alongside his comrades. And in 1943, he survived the charnel house of Monte Cassino in Italy, where the casualty rates were the highest seen since World War I. He witnessed the horrors of Belsen-Bergen and then came back to Kent to rebuild his life and rebuild our country afterwards. That man was my grandfather. And there are many families out there with similar tales of brave men, unsung heroes, who fought, saved Europe from destruction, then came back and rebuilt our country. What do they see now? A country that is being betrayed by our politicians, who are ignoring the wishes of 17.4 million people who voted to leave the EU and talk of a transitional period. We have a fantastic global future awaiting us, embracing the other 180 countries around the world, whilst retaining friendly trading links with an EU that needs us more than we need them. So why, Mrs May, why have you not got the courage and the foresight of those 17.4 million people who turned round on the 23rd of June last year and said, enough, we want to take back our laws, we want to take back our borders, we want to take back control, and we want to grow and become that great trading nation again, that nation that has given us so many heroes, so many visionaries, has given the world Shakespeare, has given the world so much in the way of culture. Why, oh why, do you want to tie us to a failing, despotic state like the European Union? Well, I say to the 17.4 million, make your voices heard. Get involved with the campaign groups. Get in touch with the Freedom Association's Better Off Out campaign. Get in touch with leave.eu. We won last year, we can win again. Let's force their hand, let's make them give us what we voted for, and give our children the future that they deserve. I'll leave the final part of this video to the words of another great Englishman, Winston Churchill. And I think this sums it up, and it's very apt considering what we're seeing with the European Union. In the 1950s, Churchill said this: "We have our own dream and our own task. We are with Europe, but not of it. We are linked, but not combined. We are interested and associated, but not absorbed. If Britain must choose between Europe and the open sea, she must always choose the open sea." All I can say to that is, those words have come back. Let's choose the open sea. Let's rejoin our trading links with the rest of the world and the Commonwealth. And let's give our children and our grandchildren a country fit for them, that they can be proud of, that our own grandparents fought for.